Welcome to another episode of Oxygen. Tonight, we're going to dive deep in to Memphis, Tennessee, the CMG camp, Big Jook, and Young Dolph. You don't want to miss this. Continue watching till the end because we've got a shocker for you. Let's get it. Okay, we all know Young Dolph was taken out at Makita's Cookie Shop in Memphis, Tennessee. Speculations, suspects arrested from the Trilla Mafia connected to the CMG camp to Govan have all been arrested. As soon as they got arrested, they started talking. And we all knew as soon as that pressure was applied, they'd start talking. Okay, this goes back to Young Dolph and Big Jook. Young Dolph and Big Jook were homeboys at once upon a time, or associates, you could say. Young Dolph, being independent, he was a rapper, but he was still in the streets. He was doing what every street hood did. He was getting that work. Big Jook, coming from CMG, which CMG is supposed to run Memphis. Okay? Young Dolph was supplying Big Jook with all the work. So you can say Big Jook was working for Young Dolph. Okay? At this time, Young Dolph was creating some buzz in the rap game. Before, none of this was a problem because Young Dolph was keeping it in the street. But now, he was getting a voice in Memphis. He was getting some buzz in the rap game. And we all know who runs the rap game in Memphis. CMG. CMG comes in, sits down with Dolph. They do a few concerts together. They bring him out. They going back and forth. They cutting it up. Young Dolph, no disrespect, wants to keep it independent. He wants to own all his masters. He wants to say so what goes on with his career. CMG wanted Young Dolph in their camp. But it didn't end up like that. At the beginning, everything was good. There was no beef in the streets. Young Dolph started getting more buzz. People started coming to the PRE, Paper Rate Entertainment, Paper Route Entertainment. Young Dolph was growing this from the ground up. He was signing more and more artists. He comes out with a song stating he's the king of Memphis. This made Yo Gotti and CMG feel some type of way. Alright? Because Yo Gotti, CMG, they've been running Memphis for a long time. In the rap game, as well as in the streets. And Young Dolph was going to come out here. And in their eyes, he ain't put in work like they've put in work. They own Memphis. This is their playground. They say so what goes on in Memphis. Now Young Dolph comes independent with a voice and a following. He was a threat. So behind the scenes, they start going back and forth, which we all know. Young Dolph made the song, "Don't fuck with me, fuck with your bitch. That was your big sister," talking about Big Jook. Now, the beef is going mainstream. This is making CMG look weak, like they don't have a hold on Memphis anymore. And CMG didn't want nothing to do with it. They weren't having it. But why did CMG have an issue with it? All right, let's rewind it. CMG. How did CMG form? Yes, it's Yo Gotti's studio. It's his record label. But where did CMG come from? Okay? It started from the ground up in the 70s and 80s with the guy that just died. Where was Big Jook at when he got shot? Eric Bovan's funeral. Yes, Eric Bovan. That is Big Jook's uncle, Bovan. He's married to Big Jook's mama. She's a Mims. There's 3 Mims. There's 3 Mims sisters. Linda, Janet, and I don't remember the third one. But there's 3 Mims sisters. There's 3 Bovan brothers. So this is where it starts. Bovans hook up with the Mims. They get together. Some of them get married. Some of them stay together, but they don't ever get married, but they're together. The streets knows what's going on. Back in the day, the Mims sisters used to work with the Bovans. Bovan was a big-time player, kingpin in Memphis, Atlanta, Houston, state lines, big fish. Yo Gotti's mama and his aunties were in the game as well. You go back and see where both of the sisters, Yo Gotti's mama and her sister, went to prison for Eric Bovan because they got busted with dope. Kilos, a lot of it. It's not small weight, big weight. But they were in it from the beginning. They went to jail, they sat down, they did their time, and they didn't talk. They didn't snitch. They did what they were supposed to. They kept it hood. So they sat down. Fast forward, they get out. Bovan's out. Okay? They put together all this money and start opening up a business. Restaurants, advertising, event places, you name it. They're involved in it. Real estate. One of the sisters is a real estate agent. So they're buying up everything. They're in with Makita's Cookie Shop. Yes, they're in business with Makita's. Okay? All right. So they're all out. They're turning the drug money into legitimate money. Or trying to. The FBI were watching. They put a tracker on Bovan's cars. And they watched him for months and months. They recorded their phone conversations. So they knew what was up. They knew what was going on. All right, so fast forward. All right, so we're going to fast forward. Now, Young Dolph is in the music game, and he's blowing up. People are starting to listen to what he's got to say. Okay? So, now it's becoming mainstream. The CMG camp is not liking it. They feel they've put their dues in, they put their time in, and the Young Dolph family is still beneath them in their eyes. Okay? So, this is where it gets tricky. All right? CMG, they put a hit on Dolph, allegedly. Okay? They put a hit, attempted 3 times. One of the attempts was Howard Keon Wright. Keon Wright is the son of Bovan. Okay? Keon gets wrapped up. Somehow, some way, they found out what he did. So, they arrested him. He's doing his time. He might be out by now in 24, but he sat down. He didn't talk. He kept it straight. Okay? It was an attempt. Next, Dolph winds up getting killed at Makita's. So, we all covered the news. We all seen what happened. Straight drop gets popped. Hernandez Govan gets popped. So, them two get arrested. They sit down. They start telling everything. Okay? They start telling everything. They tell on Big Jook. Big Jook put a bag on Dolph's head. Alright, time goes by. They bring Big Jook in. Everybody knows Big Jook got arrested, but he was released, bailed out, whatever the case was. But during the time Big Jook got arrested, he winds up turning state's evidence. Okay? He winds up telling on the street, his family, the Bovans, because the cops already knew what was going on. That's who they wanted. They wanted the kingpin, and then the rest would fall into play. So Big Jook is released because he worked with the feds. He gets released. They say New Year's Eve, Bovan died. I was under the impression it was health issues, but they say New Year's Eve, he wound up getting killed. Big Jook, the Mims family, attend the funeral. As they're at the repast, Big Jook gets taken out. All right. So, everybody knew if Big Jook was going to get touched, it had to be planned out. When, how, who was going to be there, who had guns, who didn't have guns, the whole nine. So they planned it out, and it looks from the outside looking in that it came from Young Dolph's camp. PRE. Perfect setup. They killed Dolph. This was get back for PRE. They took out Big Jook. A lot of people say that Yo Gotti backdoored his own brother because of the RICO case. Now, with Big Jook gone, the RICO case is more likely going to disappear because Big Jook is going to be the fall guy. Which, if you don't know, it looks like Yo Gotti had something to do with it. But that's not the case. Yo Gotti didn't have anything to do with it. The Big Jook hit was a get back, but it wasn't from Young Dolph. It was from inside the CMG camp. The CMG camp meaning the Bovan family. And you got to think, they've got roots deep in Memphis. Deep in Memphis. So they can get you touched, period. No matter who you are, how much money you got, they've got players. CMG has got attorneys. They've got people in the city, in the state, on their side. Okay? This goes up the food chain. This is why CMG has had the run that they've had in Memphis. They've had a stranglehold on Memphis. Young Dolph knew it and wanted to have his own path, which there's been many interviews you can go back and see where Young Dolph is telling everybody that he took care of Big Jook for over 5 years in the street game. This was behind the scenes. But if you know, you know. Yo Gotti, being a pretty smart businessman, knew he couldn't go straight at Dolph. So he gets his goons, Black Youngster. Black Youngster gets on there and decides, hey, I'll be the crash dummy. Let me go out looking for Dolph with guns and my crew and blah, blah, blah. So Black Youngster does. He goes out looking. Not too long ago, this was probably been a month, maybe 2 months ago, Black Youngster's brother winds up getting hit at a gas station. Was that get back? Probably so. Do we know? We don't. But if you know, you know. All right. Moneybag Yo. Where's he come into play? Moneybag Yo was cool with Young Dolph. Right now, Moneybag Yo has stepped away from CMG. If I'm not mistaken, right now he's on Loaf Entertainment. He's starting a new brand, yada, yada, yada. Moneybag Yo didn't want to get involved. He liked Young Dolph, but he was signed to CMG. So, that's why Moneybag Yo has had a falling out. With this Big Jook case, a white Ford Explorer has been on the scene as the getaway vehicle, the shooter's vehicle. As well, there's been a white Tesla. Some of you might have heard about it, you might not have. But there was a white Tesla that was also in the mix with somebody shooting out of the white Tesla. Who owns a white Tesla? If I'm not mistaken, it's Yo Gotti's sister or his daughter that owns a white Tesla. With all this going on, their restaurant, Prive, if I'm pronouncing that right, in Memphis, is up for sale. A lot of people saying that they thought it was up for sale because of all the violence and everything, which is true. They've got Prive up for sale because of everything that's been going on, but they did not own that property. They were leasing that property. And whoever owns that property told CMG and the MIMS, which is the MIMS is who owns it, that they will not renew the lease. They want them out. They want them gone. That's why you've seen the name change hands so many times, because all the violence that has gone on associated with CMG and Prive. All right. So now the young lady, which I believe is the sister of Gotti, they gave her $100,000 on Christmas. This was to open a new business. It's not like she needs the money, but this was to open a new business because they are getting kicked out of Prive. Okay? So, I know everybody's thinking, well, who took out Big Jook? We've got a good idea who took out Big Jook. And if you're watching this video to the end, you're going to see a few photos of the one that actually did it. We can't say the name as of right now because everything is alleged. Everything is speculation. But if you know, you know. Okay, so y'all stay tuned. This video was a lot longer than I expected, but it's going to be even longer because there's going to be a part 2 and possibly a part 3. At the end of part 2, you will find out who's behind the killing of Big Jook. Stay tuned. Hey, hit the like button. Leave us your comments. Hit the subscribe. Help us grow the channel. We're doing it from the bottom up. We're putting in the work. We're trying to make it work. So, again, leave us your comments. Hit the like button. And most of all, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you can stay updated when we drop every new video. Until next time, this is the episode of Oxygen. hip hop news. Let's get it.